Hello and welcome to another demonstration of profile application externalization in the Mars release of the Eclipse Papyrus project. Today we'll look at the identification of the models in which we store profile applications and some advanced use cases such as the repeated application of a profile. So let's start with the same little example model that we've been working with in these demonstrations. Looking at package 1, it doesn't have any profile applied, so let's start by applying that profile. Okay, and we'll apply a few stereotypes to some elements. The bean. It's red by default as an entity bean. Let's set the finder operation. Okay, and this one will apply the stereotype. And we'll make it green, a session bean. Good, okay, so let's save that for good measure. Now, we externalize this profile. And here we see some changes in the profile application externalization wizard. The first thing is this new model name field. So that lets us assign some kind of name or identifier that is meaningful to us that indicates whatever we want. Usually the purpose or the viewpoint, the perspective that the profile applications in a model will apply to the user model. So I'll just give this some arbitrary name now. And as usual, we can store profile applications anywhere in the workspace. Now by default, the suggestion of an extension is this fairly cumbersome one here. I usually prefer something shorter. It doesn't matter what the file name is, so long as it ends with .uml. It could even just be, like that. It doesn't matter. So anyways, I'll go with this kind of file name. Okay, so here we see another new thing, which is the profile applications table in the package properties. Has a little decoration showing the name or the ID of that profile application model in which a profile application resides, if it is externalized. Other profiles don't show that because they're native to the model. And a similar thing in the Package Explorer, a list of all the IDs or names of the profile application models from which a package has applied profiles. So let's save that. And there we see the new resource appears. Okay, so continuing with our use case, we'll unload that profile application that we just created. And again, these load and unload dialogues, they show profile application identifiers in there so that we can easily recognize what we're looking at, because presumably those names will be more meaningful than just file paths. So let's unload that. That's good. So we see that those profile applications have gone away. The diagram is refreshed to reflect that, and the profile application is gone. So now let's do something interesting. Let's apply that same profile again to this package. And we'll set some different values of the stereotype attributes this time. So this will be a bean again, of course. Only this time we'll make it a different kind of a bean. So we'll make it blue. That's great. This one, for no particularly good reason at all, we'll just let it be red. That's fine. So there, again, we have this profile applied. That profile is native to this model. So we see, we might have thought that the externalized profile application in this model was something we could load now, but we can't, because to do that would give us a conflict. We have this package already has that profile applied, so if we loaded this other profile application from this model, then we'd have two applications of the same profile on the same package. That's not something we like, so we don't have the opportunity to do that. But what we can do is we can externalize this profile application also. So the dialog kindly remembers my preference for naming scheme. I'll call this beans variant 2, and I'll store this in some resource somewhere. Let's try to pick this model that we already have. No good. That resource already applies that profile to this package. So that would be a conflict. So why don't I give it a different name? And there we go. So let's do that. We'll save. And that's good. So now we see again, this little indicator here means that we can, there are resources available in the workspace for which we can load profile applications. But how can that be? Because we already have that profile applied. Well, the trick is that we might, because this profile is applied twice in external resources, we can easily switch between the two different applications of the same profile. So I'm given the option here to load the bean variant 1 profile, but now there's another step that I need to do, because to load that would cause a conflict. I need to unload conflicting profile application resources. So the one that conflicts is the beans variant 2 that I currently have loaded. So let's do that. We see beans variant 1 is loaded in place of beans variant 2, and the color's changed to show what was in the bean variant 1 profile. So there we have quickly switching between different applications of the same profiles on the same packages. Now let's have a look at another sort of perspective on that situation. Let's initialize a new Papyrus model on this one. Okay, we'll finish that. And there we have a new Papyrus model, and it opens up the bean variant 1 view on our test model. So in fact, I can load the package 1 diagram, and there we see the variant 1 colors. And let's do the same on the other variant. That opens up beans variant 2, of course. And there's package 1 with the other colors. So here we open now two different profile application models providing different perspectives on the same user model in separate editors, because of course every model that you open in Papyrus is opened in its own editor. But of course, there is still another use case that we can look at, which is given this model here that has a package that has the same profile applied more than once in external resources, we have the option to load some profile applications from external resources. So, of course, we're presented with both of the options, even though it would not be valid to load both of them. We need to choose one. If we try to load them both, we get a friendly message saying, there are conflicts in the selections you've made, so please just choose one. So we'll do that. And again, in the context of editing this model, we can choose to work with this profile application, or we can choose to work with the other one. As usual, of course, there are bugs, some lingering refresh problems. So there you have it, identifying your externalized profile applications and working with multiple applications of the same profiles on the same packages. Thank you.